Hello, everybody. It's Friday again. Good afternoon, everybody.
Bonjour à tous. Hi, everyone.
All right.
Hola, todo el mundo.
That's a good one. All right. It's been three weeks. I guess we missed twice
Yeah.
last week and the week before. We're sorry to have we've had a few issues, but anyways, we're right back online. I hope we're not too rusty after 2 weeks of absence.
No.
But we do have special guest today who's how would I describe you, James? Teenage sensation? Is that too strong? Well, at least the first part's right. Eh? You are a sensation. Oh no, you're a teenager.
Thank
so
you.
so today we have James Corr with us, and I found James on I think Olly's blog one day. I guess last year or something. I was going through stuff, and then one link led to another. Hey, that could be a new expression. One link led to another. I was on
What?
Benny's blog and whatnot, and then that just sort of went away. I mean, thought, wow, nice teenage language enthusiast. It was really nice to see young folks getting passionate about languages at such a early stage. And then this year, I think James' aunt contacted us to participate at LangFest and whatnot, and then said, my nephew, he's like the super language, enthusiast. Well, she said geek, but anyways, she said she would love to, have him participate, give him a little surprise present and whatnot, and that the name just sort of rang a bell, and then I guess I did some googling and I found out that hey, this is the kid that I saw about a year ago. So why not have the kid who really impressed us on our show? So here we are, James Corl. Uh, I've revealed a lot, but I think I've not revealed the core of who you are. So tell us a little bit about yourself, starting from your languages and you know what you focus on in life as a teenager.
Yeah. Alors, d'abord, non, avant nous commençons, je voudrais vous remercier pour tout tu as fait pour moi et pour ma tante. Et nous ne pouvons pas attendre pour l'Infest. On a eu.
Oh, merveilleux.
Excellent.
Merci beaucoup.
On
I'll
t'attend
change
aussi.
back to English now because I'm pretty sure my family didn't understand that. So, as Tetsu said, I'm James Corl. I'm 16 years old, based in Syracuse, New York, and I really got my first start with languages when I was 12. I was in seventh grade, and I was taking standard French class in my school, and I really enjoyed it. But then all of a sudden, I thought to myself, well, why can't I learn another language on my own? Why can't I just go out and use an app to learn a language? So I started out using Duolingo to learn Italian. So I learned Italian a little bit. It's definitely one of my favorite countries in the world, Italy. My grandmother was half Italian, and she loved to make meatballs and raviolis and a lot of great Italian food. She was a great chef and great cook. So after that, I started gaining my confidence, and I said, "Hey, I can learn languages on my own. You don't need a teacher. You don't need a formal classroom to do so." So that's when I started exploring more, and I found Benny, and I found Olly, and I found all these great resources on the internet to help me out. And next thing you know, a few years later, I'm taking French and Spanish at my high school now, but a lot of my studies come from outside the classroom.
Yeah.
And right now I'm working on Chinese, which my main goal right now is to get to a conversational level for LangFest.
Well, that's fantastic. You've not chosen the easiest language to tackle.
No, but it's really a rewarding experience so far. I've looked at for example how Benny learned Chinese and how Ollie just went on his Italian mission. So I might try to incorporate a little bit of both techniques as well as some of my own to learn Chinese. But it's going to be a great adventure. I can't wait.
Well, that's
Have you
great.
had the travel a little bit to hone your different language skills, or for now you're doing it all at home and you know, doing your personal work and exposure, or how does that work?
Yeah, for right now, I mostly go on on the internet and I find language partners to connect with. I have, for example, at NYSAFLT last year at the language conference I attended, I did practice my languages there.
Yeah.
I practice all the time with local immigrants within my community and different students within my classes. But I haven't actually traveled to, say, Spain or France or Italy. Not yet. Not yet.
Okay. Okay.
Did you say the first foreign language that you learned was Italian?
Yes. Yep. The first
Okay.
one I learned.
And what would you say your so is that your best foreign language right now?
Yeah, right now on the CEFR scale,
Mhm.
I'm about a C1 level.
That's
Okay,
great.
that's good. Yeah.
I've never done a test on my languages on those on that CEFR. I didn't even, I mean,
Oh,
honestly,
it's,
I didn't
you
even
know,
know what CEFR was. Personally, I don't think I know what it stands for. It's
it,
something
The
European framework.
central,
framework for languages, a common reference European framework.
Reference. Ah.
yeah,
Yeah,
there you
for
go.
languages.
Hey,
But
that goes to
uh,
show
it,
how
it's
much I've
mostly
learned.
self-assessment, actually. It's mostly self-assessment. You know, you don't need to really get tested. I mean, there are tests
Oh,
that
it's
exist. I
actually
mean,
a self-assessment.
not there are tests that exist. Like some tests will tell you, you know, oh, this is the test to show that you're this level. But really, you could have a pretty good guess of your level just reading a description. So for different languages that you know, it's fairly easy to put yourself in one of those boxes just by reading what you do. But you know, C2 is the maximum. If you're at C1,
Mhm.
basically, if you're in the C's, you can do anything in the language. You know,
Wow.
in, you read and talk about any subject, and you know, so being a
Wow.
C1 or 2 is quite good in any language.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and I didn't really take any, formal like tests. I know you can get like a certificate in C1 or
Yeah,
C2 if you want to, but I honestly just read the description and then so I went on. It gave a little like a sample paragraph to read and said if you didn't understand this, this is probably at your level. So I went through and I
yeah,
said, oh, like this sounds like where I'm at right now.
So because you said you had Italian ancestry, I guess you have Italian blood. What else triggered the desire to learn Italian?
Um, Probably just the culture. I've always been interested. I've another big passion of mine is history,
And
and at
did
the
you
time,
travel to Italy before learning Italian, or did that, lead to you learning Italian?
no, I've never been to Italy.
Okay,
You know,
oh, when you said Italy was your favorite country, I thought that meant you've been there and.
oh no, no, but my dad's been and my grandpa's been.
Okay,
They have a lot of, a lot of scrapbooks and of their memories in Italy
well, that's
and
nice.
a lot of pictures.
And nobody in your family are like linguophiles and anybody to like influence you, lead you in that direction.
Um, my aunt speaks Spanish,
Okay,
but at the time when I started learning Italian, she was teaching English.
okay.
Um, so so that, obviously I knew that, going into this, but also my grandmother was an ESL teacher, a
Okay.
professor at a college.
Wow. So
But
you
other than
must have the language loving gene somewhere to really start become passionate about languages without real environmental cues. I would say. Because a lot of polyglots that we know, a lot of them are, they come from an immigrant family or they live in a third country as in not the country of their parents, uh, or they have, a lot of immigrant friends, something that influences them and pushes them towards that, or they travel. Like I learned Spanish because I went to Ecuador for the first time, and I thought, why not learn Spanish? That's sort of, there's like trigger, there's that, some form of motivation that's behind it. But you just seem like you love it,
yeah,
and that's
yeah,
great.
yeah, and I'm not sure there was something, a lot of the times, the traditional classroom sometimes gets a bad rap, for not being able to help students out. For some reason, when I started taking the class, and then when that was augmented with my Italian learning, I just really fell in love with learning new vocabulary and learning different grammar structures.
I want to
Maybe
get to that. Yes.
maybe it was with the end goal of knowing that at the end of this, I'll be able to speak the language with other people and hear their stories. But that's a really it's just an interesting way of thinking about it, 'cause most people think, oh, like tedious grammar charts or something, but it's really languages are more of a pattern more than anything. You learn one, especially in French. You learn, the irregular endings, and you already have 15 new verbs that have that same ending. So now you have to remember over and over and over again. You just need to remember the certain endings a few times, and then they replicate themselves.
Nice. Well, not everybody finds that fascinating. Let's say
Yeah.
some people find that a burden, a chore to remember the verb declensions and whatnot. And so we're all different, and we learn languages different ways. But I think I like the way you think about I guess the traditional or academic way of learning, and also the actual go into the field and do it yourself kind of attitude. So there's no best way. There's no bad way. There's just how you take the tools and sort of make it your way. And I think you're doing well. So I wanted to ask you, since I know that you presented at a big teachers conference.
Yeah.
This was what, last year or the year before? Tell me. Tell our audience about what that experience was, because it's quite unique to have a student actually present at a teachers conference, and how that came about. And
Yeah, so that was a great experience. The year before I presented, it was 2016.
which conference was that?
It was at the New York State Association of Foreign Language Teachers, and the acronym is NYSAFLT. So when I'm talking about, I just might refer to it to NYSAFLT in passing.
Okay.
But to give some context, at my high school every year I run a festival of nations, and I ran this festival for the first time. We had 12 countries, and my aunt went, and this at the time she was just teaching English, and she said, well, she got home that night and she told me, like, I should go back to teaching Spanish. This would be, the way you put on the festival, it would be a great way to get back into it and get back into the swing of things. Well, that summer she got hired for a Spanish teaching job, and she invited me to go to NYSAFLT with her to see what the academic way of learning a foreign language was, what discussions are happening within the teacher realms. So I went to this conference and I had a great time with her. We went to workshop, and I asked teachers, I picked their brains a little bit. Obviously, because I had spoken the language a lot, and I asked them, well, how does your model, reflect speaking in the classroom, or different activities? How will this encourage the students to learn more, or things like that? How will they take the learning from the classroom and apply it to the outside world? So I had a great time. I asked those questions. I got really great answers. I met a lot of great people. And I thought to myself, well, I think I could present myself. And I looked on NYSAFLT's website, and it didn't say anything against students presenting. So the following year, I submitted a proposal, and it was called "Say Goodbye to Shy: A Student's Perspective in the Classroom." So it was
What a
going to be
nice title. Wow, what a nice title.
Thank you very much. And I want to. My main goal, and one of my main aspects of language learning is bringing together the independent language learner. So, for example, people that might go to LangFest, or people who read Benny's website or Olly's website, and tie them together with the traditional classroom and foreign language teachers, so that they can meet each other in the middle and really understand where each side is coming from.
Mm-hmm.
So in my presentation, I provided student data. I did a few surveys and said, listen, kids want to speak more in the classroom. And I had a few other questions about what students wanted in the classroom, what they liked, what they thought could be improved upon. But the nice part was that most students really enjoyed their language classroom. So I got accepted. You know, I was thrilled. I spent the whole summer preparing this this workshop, and the time came, and over 30 teachers came to my presentation from all over New York State, from people that were going to be teachers that were still in college to full-on teachers in high school or even beyond, maybe the college professors. So I was able to give them what the independent language learner does on a daily basis. Like for example, I had a sheet of Mandarin Chinese words, and I had them make a conversation off those words, kind of simulating what the independent language learner does. You know, speaking in front of native speakers without much vocabulary and trying to make their way by, asking them, how do you say this? How do you say that? Making connections and really improving in the language. So by putting teachers in the shoes of independent language learners, they were really able to understand why I like to speak so much and how independent language learners really learn languages on their own.
Well, if we make the analogy that students are clients or you know, customers of teachers who are, you know, suppliers, then they definitely need the perspective of their customers, right? And having, you know, your you know, I guess perspective on how to be a student or what a student wants or likes is so valuable.
They might not remember.
Exactly. I mean, it's just like when, you know, we grow up, become adults, but a lot of times we forget what it was like as a child, you know. So that's great. And you said this was last year, right?
This was in that was October of 2017.
2017. Fantastic. Definitely, you know, I don't know if they had other students last year, but you know, if this changes the organization's the event, you know, strategy in getting their conference or their speakers, and have at I guess a proportion of students, that would be you know, that'd be great. You would have changed the history of an event.
Yeah.
Because it is a big event, isn't it? I mean, how many people attend this event every year?
I would say probably it was the 100th anniversary, so maybe it was a little more inflated than usual.
100th anniversary? Wow.
Yeah. This organization's been around since 1917, and
they've never had a student come up on stage.
No.
Wow, you've made history. Wow.
Yeah, so there must have been 200, more than 250 teachers from all across New York State there.
Wow. That's nice.
Yeah.
And
impressive.
And any plans to apply there again? Did they call you back?
Unfortunately, I applied to present again. However, according to some state bylaws, I'm not allowed to present technically, because
really. Yeah. So not only have you made history, you've even broken the law.
Yeah, I found a loophole.
Wow, we're talking to a criminal here, Nicolas.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, more yeah, like a felon, more like it. But according to the state education department, because I signed off on credit hours for teachers, I can't do that because I'm a student and I'm not accredited within the field of foreign languages. So technically all the papers that I signed off on were invalid. So unfortunately they can't have me back. But it was a great experience. I met a lot of new people, made a lot of good friends.
Hey, it's yours. That experience is yours to keep forever.
Yes.
So congratulations on that. And so how did you know, your connection with the polyglot community come about? I guess, you know, with the Bennies and the you know, did you approach those guys just like out of the blue, or did you meet them somewhere? Is this
Yeah, like it probably started when, you know, I learned Italian. I was scouring the internet for resources. And I came across Fluent 3 months. I will teach you a language and a bunch of YouTube videos. And I started looking these guys up. I was like, oh, like, I really love their stuff. I really love the message that they're bringing, is that
Yeah.
anybody can learn a language at any age, whether you're 4 years old or 104 years old, doesn't matter. You can still do it. So after, I absorbed their information, and I thought, well, maybe this is all I can do. Maybe the only thing I can do is just passively, absorb their information. Well, as I grew older, I realized that's not true. The internet has changed. The dynamic has gone from websites producing content to websites producing content and users giving feedback and creating original content. So out of the blue one day, I thought, I think my Italian story could be shared on a website. And I think it could inspire some people and maybe ask some important questions that need to be asked. So I got in touch with Olly at I Will Teach You a Language, and I gave him my short little pitch. And his editor, James, got back to me, and he said, we'd love to have this story, write up a quick draft, and I'll take a look at it. So after that, we made some edits to it, and we changed up a little bit. And then in July of 2017, my first article was published. And after that, I published on italki a few times. It was only last April when I published on Fluent in 3 months for the first time. But I've been going around not only to these individuals and asking them if they would like me to publish for them, but then also local organizations. For example, a local Latino newspaper I've written for or I'm going to be published soon. A teachers organization for French teachers that has been published, and I hope to publish for them again. So I've been involved for a pretty long time, but it's been a relatively short time writing for them.
Great.
Good. Did you mention before that you had participated Polyglot conference last year?
No, I've never been. My first real language conference was NYSAFLT.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's really a teachers conference.
Yeah.
And so you're coming to LangFest this year. We're very excited to have you with us with your enthusiastic aunt.
Yes.
I can just feel the energy in her emails to us.
Yeah.
So it's really great to to have folks like you guys. And I don't know, do you have any expectations of an event like Polyglot Conference, LangFest, Polyglot Gathering? We're sort of like the trio of this type of language event, I think, that's going on in Europe and North America. It's not a teachers conference, definitely not. But teachers are welcome. We try to go wide, and accept all sorts of topics that are related to languages and culture. So anyways, it's going to be your first attendance to one of the trio, right?
Yes.
That's
great.
Great.
I think it's phenomenal. They have such a wide umbrella, from independent language learners sharing their stories to people more like me who want to bridge the gap between academia and independent language learners. I think I'm gonna have a great time. I already know it. But I'm looking forward to practicing my languages and getting to know new people, making contacts.
People are gonna love you. we just know, because everybody at language events like this, it's always all about sharing. It's all about support. Everybody knows what everybody else is going through in terms of learning languages. So sharing is like the key word. And then another word that I like, what you said, is bridging the gap. Because it's true, there are people who are more academic inclined, and they think that's the way to go. And there are people who are more, how would I say, more independent learners and sort of go my way. So bridging the gap is clearly a good way to think about it. And again, there's no right way. There's only a way that fits you as a unique language learner. So spread the gospel that you have.
And even there's no way for a single person, like I say, usually my language learning story is all different for the different languages that I have. So sometimes, it varies even, within one person. So it's not even consistent. So
Yeah, exactly. And I think everybody's had that experience. Like from my Italian, I started learning out on my own, and then it was probably only after a year of really studying was I able to utter a single word to a native Italian speaker. And whereas with my Spanish experience, I had speaking experience right off the bat with local immigrants within my community who were thrust in my classroom. Nobody could communicate with them except for me. I remember my Dominican friend in my gym class last year, and I had to translate everything that everybody was saying to him, and that what the teachers wanted and what was expected of him, because he needed my help, and without me knowing Spanish, he would have been lost. So that just proves how different each language experience can be.
yeah,
But they're all amazing, regardless.
That's great.
absolutely. I think people. I mean, you always enjoy the result. It's like if the result is communicating, then whatever the way, the path you took, you chose to attain that goal. I think every language learner can say, it's a great satisfaction at the end of the process, which is also, I guess, a never-ending process in the sense you can always get better. But when you reach that stage, you can communicate. That's always a great satisfaction.
Yes.
All right. Well, we are getting towards the end. Not quite yet, but slowly going that way. I want to take a minute to thank the people chiming in right now on our YouTube and our Facebook live. A few people, I'm sure, are good friends of James here. We have Zahoplivi. I'm not sure I pronounced that correctly. We have our very own Joey, who couldn't come to the live today, but he is online watching. And we have Jimmy Mello, long time no speak. How are you doing, Jimmy? I don't know if you know Jimmy, but he runs a big language group, polyglot group on Facebook, one of the biggest ones. And on our YouTube we have Sergio Aguirre and Luke Conor. So say hello to everybody.
Hey everyone, thank you very much for tuning in. It's great having you here, promoting LangFest. And if you want to really get the true experience of speaking with different polyglots and people with different experiences, come this August, the 23rd through the 25th.
All right, that's right.
Great.
Thanks for the little plug there.
Yeah.
And if I may add, we do start social activities before the actual the conference portion. So if you come to Montreal early, we do a quick kickoff, not meeting, kickoff party at the Montreal Mundo Lingo usually every year. But anyways, it's gonna be a big party usually starting on the Tuesday, which is August 20th. So 20, 21st, 22nd, we have social activities for people to mingle and get to know each other before the more conference part of the event. So hopefully you'll come before and join us in the activities. And before we wrap up, we always ask our guests about their future. What's in the horizon for James? Hopefully language-wise, but also as in general, if you like.
So obviously, one of the big things that's on the horizon right now is college. For me.
All right.
Right now, I'm looking at Harvard, Yale, and Princeton.
Oh wow. I don't know those. I don't know those universities, but yeah, that sounds pretty good.
Yeah, they're pretty small. So
not the tuition.
Yeah, so that's where I would like to go, and I want to go into I would like to go into either international law, immigration law.
Oh wow, okay.
Something at the UN.
Nice.
Hopefully, because with all three I can use my languages, and that's definitely something I don't want to give up my job.
So not directly using languages such as a translator or linguistics or anything like that, but an international degree, I guess, that would, you know,
You can,
indirectly use your languages. Is that what you're aiming for?
Yes, yeah, that's what I'm aiming for.
That's good. And if I may do a little event plugging of my own, since you mentioned the UN, it so happens that the World Esperanto Congress will take place in Montreal next year, and I'm involved in Esperanto as well. Maybe you know the language or at least have heard of it. But the theme, the topic, this is always a topic for the event, is the 75th anniversary of the foundation of the United Nations, and there will be you know, parts of the program that will be related to that. So if you're interested in diplomacy and stuff like that, and you have an interest for Esperanto, it might be a great way to put two and two together and attend as well, and attend LangFest in 2020 as well, because that will be happening as well.
Yeah, yeah. I've never learned Esperanto. I've obviously heard of Esperanto, but I would love to learn that. I've heard it's a very easy language to learn.
You can give it to see if you like it or not. You know, it's okay if you don't, but for someone who knows a few European languages already, for sure, you know, it's not very hard to get to the point where you can have conversations.
Well, Nicolas, the guy's tackled Mandarin.
That's what I'm saying. You know, I'm if it's something that you want to give a go at one point, it's certainly not. I think it will not probably be your most challenging language project.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but with that language, it'll open new doors to meet new people and make new friends.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, that was just since you mentioned you know, international careers and the UN. I thought I'd mention it.
But I think it's a smart move. It's a smart move. I mean,
yeah,
clearly,
it is.
Clearly the world is not going towards monolingualism as we move forward. Regardless of the work that, you know, and a career that you're gonna pick up, I mean, I'm pretty sure you're gonna find some connection with languages that you're gonna need somehow. But if you're aiming for things that are like international relations, international politics, you know, something that already contains the word international, clearly you're gonna have a higher portion of languages.
I found, if we have two seconds, me to add that you know, it's true for any person. Your language abilities will create the opportunities for themselves, in the sense that even at my job, you know, I've had the opportunity to use my Spanish quite a bit at one point, and it's not at all in the task description or what wasn't planned that you know, there was going to be a component where I'd have to use my Spanish. But you know, the fact that I know Spanish, I can speak it fluently, and the fact that we've had, you know, a random opportunity, you know, it's just put the two together, and you know, it turned into a project. So your abilities will find in a sense, the opportunities for themselves. You know, they will create new opportunities, even though they're in places that you wouldn't think at first.
Cannot agree more. Anyways, James, you know, all of us at LangFest, we wish you the very best in your mid to long term, you know, future and your goals. But before anything, in the short term, August, we will see you in Montreal, and we'll use our languages and practice your languages and make good friends and network. Alrighty.
Yes, absolutely. I can't wait.
Great. Okay. Well, take care, everybody. This is another episode of our Facebook Live and our YouTube Live on Friday. We will have another session next week. Our guests are already lined up, and the announcements will be coming up. Take care and have a good weekend, everybody. Bye bye. Merci tout le monde.
Salut.